Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English. In our today's video, we are going to cover cheetahs in India have found a new home. Where is this new home located? Why is government trying to shift away from their existing home, that is their Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh? We'll find out in our today's discussion. Now the notes that I will be using in this session, if you want to download them, you have an option. You can go to a Telegram channel called as ATS Live. Just enter the word Cheetahs Live in the search bar on the top right hand corner of your Telegram app. You'll find the channel. You can download the notes from there. And while you're at it, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Let us start today's discussion by understanding the context of why we're discussing this particular article. Now, the cheetahs, they existed in India until 1950s. Now, the species of cheetahs that were existing in India known as Asiatic species of cheetahs, and they became extinct in the wild in India in 1950s. Now, the government, they wanted to restore the population of cheetahs in India. So the other option that India has that it can import cheetahs from other parts of the globe. And India did just that as a part of Project Cheetah, which was initiated in 2022. India imported as many as 20 cheetahs from African countries like Namibia and South Africa, and they settled them in a particular national park in India, that is the Kuno National Park, located in the state of Madhya Pradesh. So currently there are 29 cheetahs in Kuno, which includes 19 of them born in India. Subsequently, also have to understand that 20 cheetahs who were introduced into India, many of them died because of natural causes. So this is the present status of cheetahs in India. They are located in Kuno National Park, and the sum total of cheetahs in India, it amounts to 29, which includes 19 who were born in India. Now, there have been many practice questions that are directly picked up from the current affairs, particularly relating to one of the important national parks, wildlife sanctuary, etc. in news. So that is why this article also is important from UPSC exam. Case in point, this PYQ of 2017. So based on this question, we'll first cover the wildlife sanctuary and the national park that is in news because of relocation of cheetahs in India. And then we'll also try to solve practice questions before the end of the session. Okay, so please stay tuned until the end of the session. Now, before understanding the cheetahs in India, we need to understand the primary difference between the two species of cheetah. First species of cheetah that existed in India, they were called as Asiatic cheetahs. Now, presently, Asiatic cheetahs are only located in one country across the world, that is the country of Iran, and the number of them is 12 Asiatic cheetahs, which includes 9 males and 3 female cheetahs. They live in just one country, Iran. So ultimately, India wanted to bring these Asiatic cheetahs into India, and India requested the government of Iran. But you need to understand, even from the government of Iran's perspective, when you have so small a number of species like 12 Asiatic cheetahs, you obviously wouldn't want them to be relocated elsewhere. And this is what happened. So one option of importing cheetahs from Iran was closed for India because these are, first of all, critically endangered species, and only a small number of them, 12 in particular, live in Iran. Now, there are primary differences between Asiatic and African cheetahs. For example, in terms of size, the Asiatic cheetahs are slightly smaller and slender in nature as compared to the African cheetahs. Similarly, there's also differences in their skin color and the fur pattern. For example, they are buff to light in color, bordering pale yellow skin. And they have a more fur in their underbelly and back of their neck as compared to African cheetahs. So the other option India had was to import African cheetahs from countries like Africa, which is in Namibia, and as well as South Africa. So India did exactly just that. Now, the difference between Asiatic and African cheetahs are that African cheetahs are much larger in number, and they are distributed wide across Africa, ranging from northwestern part of Africa to east as well as southern Africa. So India has imported these cheetahs from two countries, that is Namibia as well as South Africa. Both are part of southern part of the Africa. Now, in terms of size, as I've told you, African cheetahs are somewhat bigger in size as compared to Asiatic cheetahs, and they have a light brown to golden brown fur color, which is thicker than the Asiatic lions. Now, there is also a difference in the IUCN red list status of these two species. First of all, it is quite natural to understand Asiatic cheetahs are very small in number, so their protection status is the highest, that is, they are critically endangered species as per IUCN. Whereas African cheetahs are somewhat larger in number, so they have a somewhat relaxed protection status, that is, they have having a protection status of vulnerable species. Understood? So this is the primary difference between African and Asiatic cheetahs. Please remember, the cheetahs that are now available in India, they are African cheetah species, not the Asiatic cheetah species. Up till 1952, India had presence of Asiatic species. Okay. Now let us come back to the original article which talked about the government's relocation plan of cheetahs away from Kuno National Park, which doesn't mean that every cheetah from the Kuno National Park would be relocated. Some of them would be relocated. Now they would be relocated to another wildlife sanctuary also located in Madhya Pradesh, that is the Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, which is located in the Chambal Valley. Chambal Valley is the region very close to Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan border. Now, the distance of Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary from Kuno National Park is 280 kilometers, and the intention of the government is to create a second viable cheetah population away from Kuno and in a condition which is very much similar to Kuno. So that is why Gandhi Sagar is the right place to be. Similarly, two male cheetahs naming Prabhash and Pravak, they were released in April 2025. Now, one female cheetah species have also been introduced, so it can create conditions for reproduction and birth of newer cheetah species. Okay, so this is the government's original plan. Now you must be thinking, why is government moving them to a wildlife sanctuary, not to another national park located quite close to the Kuno National Park? There is a very good reason for it. First is that the Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary has been earmarked as an important link for the long-term conservation of cheetahs. Now government wants to create a meta population of cheetahs. Cheetahs larger in number and also spread across a wider geographical distribution. So what the original intention of the government is that it wants to establish a meta population of as much as 60 to 70 cheetahs, and you can understand 60 to 70 cheetahs cannot sustain in a particular national park. So they'll have to be spread across a wider geographical expanse, and here Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary is very ideally placed. Similarly, it is also spread across the region of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, which allows for a kind of vegetation which is much more suitable for cheetahs. Now you need to understand, cheetahs are the world's fastest mammal species, so they need wider grounds on which they can run. So obviously dense forested areas are not an option where you want to relocate these cheetahs from. So what kind of vegetation is more suited? Dry deciduous forest, scrublands, savanna lands, grasslands, etc. These are more suited for the cheetahs, and this region where Kuno and Gandhi Sagar is located, it is having that kind of vegetation. Similarly, the decision of the government to relocate these cheetah species comes from many concerns associated with the cheetah population in the Kuno National Park. First of all, as the population of cheetahs multiplies in Kuno, it leads to problem of availability of adequate prey and also availability of other predator species in the region, that are leopards. Now you need to understand, when you keep two apex predators in the region, they automatically would come into conflict when it comes to their territory marking, when it comes to securing the amount of prey or food. So this is why you need to keep certain populations of cheetah away from Kuno, so that the pressure on Kuno is not as much as the ecology of the region can take. Okay, so this is the reason why Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary has been chosen. Now let us understand few more details about Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. So whenever we are covering a protected area, you need to know certain kind of a data, like what kind of a river is passing through it, what is the flora, fauna available in the region, where it is located geographically. All of those kind of data are very important. Now this Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary is situated in the northern border of Madhya Pradesh, which is directly in line with the Rajasthani border. Now it is located in two districts of Madhya Pradesh, that is Mandsaur and Neemuch district, and the river of Chambal, which is a tributary of Yamuna, it passes through the sanctuary and divides it in two parts. So to help you understand the location of it, it is located very close to the Rajasthani border, the Gandhi Wildlife Sanctuary, located on the northern part of Madhya Pradesh. Okay. Now the flora of the region, what kind of forests are available? I told you, whenever you have to introduce a cheetah, you should provide it as an adequate space so that it can run and behave naturally, and this is what a kind of forest is adequately desirable for cheetahs. So you can understand, the Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, the forest that is available here is a mix of dry deciduous forest and evergreen riverine patches. So what you don't want in case of cheetah is dense forest, so you don't want that. What you want is scrubs land, you want grassland, you want less dense forest, and this is what is available in the Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. Now, the principal tree species that are available include khair, salai, kardai, dadwada, tendu species as well as palash. Now, tendu leaves are famous for making desi cigarettes, also known as BDs, right? So these are the adequate flora that is available in the region. Now let us talk about other animals that inhabit the Gandhi Wildlife Sanctuary. Now I told you for cheetahs to multiply, you need adequate prey base. And who are the preys of cheetah? These are species like deer, who also are known as chinkara or Indian gazelle. You know why chinkara is famous in India? I don't want to tell you that. Similarly, nilgai, sambar, cheetal, these are the prey species of cheetah. So whenever the amount of these fauna is adequate in a wildlife sanctuary or a national park, that provides an adequate prey base to the predator species like tiger, cheetah, leopard, etc. Similarly, Indian leopard, as I told you, another predator species is present here. Wild pig, peafowl, langur, Indian wild dog, peacock, otter, as well as mugger crocodile are present in the region. In addition to that, what you have to remember is in the first place, the government plans to release 4 to 5 cheetahs into a fenced area in the western part of the Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. And the reason why they are being put in a fenced area, so that this area remains cordoned off and the other predator species, the Indian leopards, do not come into conflict with the cheetahs. Similarly, the deficit of adequate prey base is going to be addressed by the government. Government wants to augment or increase the prey base through introduction of cheetah from other forest area of the Madhya Pradesh. And it will also include an idea of on situ breeding of the prey, which means these preys will allow to reproduce in the area so that they multiply and provide adequate food, adequate fodder material for the cheetahs population to sustain, right? So this is what the government plan is all about. Now, I told you for any species to sustain and multiply, you require 3 items. You require protection from other predators, which the government is going to do by fencing the enclosure where these cheetahs will be kept. Second is providing adequate prey base, which again I told you government is providing in form of bringing cheetahs from other parts of the Madhya Pradesh into Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary. And third condition is allowing these species to reproduce and multiply. So for reproduction, this is the most essential part of relocation success. How many times you're going to import the species of cheetah? For sustainability of cheetahs, for multiplication of cheetahs, you need these cheetahs to reproduce and multiply in number, right? So therefore, understanding the reproductive characteristics of cheetah also becomes very important from the exams perspective. For example, female cheetah, she attains puberty at an age of about 25 to 30 months. An average period when she delivers the first child is about 29 months. So essentially, female cheetah gives birth she becomes about 2.5 years of age, right? Now, male cheetahs, they delay the reproduction. Male cheetahs are only able to attain territorial maturity between 4 to 8 years of age, and only after they are able to attain territorial maturity, then they take part in the process of reproduction. So in terms of age, female cheetah needs to be younger as compared to male cheetahs, right? So this is the first requirement that we understood. Similarly, also need to understand the behavior of breeding. First of all, a female cheetah might have multiple mating partners, which is very much possible. Similarly, at the time of her ovulation, she demonstrates certain kind of characteristics, that is spraying, vocalizing, rolling, etc., which gives a signal to a male partner that she is ready for reproduction. Similarly, the gestation period or the pregnancy period in which the female cheetah carries the cub is about 3 months. You understand, this is much larger for human beings, that is about 9 months. Now, the litter size or the amount of child she can deliver at once is about 6 cubs. So this is very essential for planning of how the cheetahs are going to multiply. You'll have to take care of the age, the amount of female species in the region, and also the amount of a gestation period, that is about 3 months. Now, one good thing about cheetahs is that cubs, they grow rapidly. They can grow as much as 45 grams a day, which is quite a lot as compared to a human child. And mother needs constant feeding, which is more than 1.5 kilograms food daily, so that she is able to sustain her life as well as nourish the cubs until or unless they become self-sufficient, right? So this is the kind of factors that the forest officials needs to take care of before they want the numbers of the cheetahs to multiply, right? Similarly, what are the threats and challenges these cheetahs might face? First, obviously, is the adequacy of prey base, which is very critical for the survival. If the prey base comes lower, the amount of cheetahs will be malnourished and there is a chance that some of them might die. Similarly, if the amount of prey increases, it might create pressures on the local ecology. So there needs to be a balance in the availability of the prey. Similarly, presence of predators like leopards has been quite essential. You need to understand there have been instances in Kuno where cheetahs have died when they came directly in conflict with leopards. So 24 in the Gandhi Sagar enclosure or leopards are present and they have been relocated so that the density of leopards in Gandhi Sagar is somewhat less as compared to Kuno. Similarly, the past incident I told you, Daksha female cheetah in Kuno died because of violent mating attempt. So this can also happen when several male cheetahs might come into conflict when it comes to reproduction of female cheetahs. Similarly, there are risks associated with it. For example, the mortality of the child cheetahs that were born, that are cubs, they might die because of heat stresses, predation by other species, or shortage of food, which is very essential. So these are the threats and challenges which the authorities needs to keep in check so that the numbers of cheetah only multiply, not reduce. Okay. Now, to allow for better monitoring, government has undertaken certain steps. First of all cheetahs have been video collared so that their location is can be monitored by the government officials. They have been intensively monitored for how much they hunt, how much they mate, how that they undertake refuge in their dens. Similarly, veterinary teams have been deployed so that they can check on the health of cheetahs, particularly the cubs, after the few days of their birth. Similarly, supplementary feeding has been provided in line with the natural feeding tendency of cheetahs. Cheetahs are provided 15 to 20 kgs of food every 4 days because cheetahs are accustomed to stay hungry for few days until unless they secure prey naturally. And this feeding pattern has been replicated even artificially so that cheetahs, they don't face gastrointestinal problems, which is very frequent in cheetahs. Similarly, camera traps and field surveillance have been laid down on the den sites and cub movements so that these movements can be monitored and any action which requires intervention by the government officials, by forest authorities, can be taken accordingly based on evidence-based policy making, right? So this are the total amount of steps which the government is taking so as to sustain the population of cheetahs even beyond their original home in India, that was the Kuno National Park. And I told you where the population of cheetahs arrived from Kuno, they arrived from countries like Namibia and South Africa, right? Now, the moot point of all this discussion is, why is government making so much effort? The answer is that you need multiple homes for a species so that it reduces the risk of population collapse if something, God forbid, happens in the single site where they might be living. So for example, if there is a natural calamity near Kuno, it might wipe out the entire population of cheetahs. So you need to understand that you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So you can't put all the cheetahs in one national park. That is why they have been relocated to other parts as well. Similarly, while sustaining different kinds of population in different areas, it also promotes genetic diversity. With genetic diversity, you can sustain number of population based on different geographical and morphological need. And it also ensures the long-term viability of the population. Similarly, their success, it might strengthen India's case for further translocation of these species from different parts of the globe, including African countries. Now, you need to understand India in terms of size is a bigger country. So it has different areas where it can sustain population of cheetahs, and to adequately replenish the number, you need to further import them. But if you are not able to sustain the existing population, do you think countries in Africa would give you another batch of cheetahs? No, right? So we need to demonstrate that yes, although we did not have these species, but since we have imported them, we have ensured adequate conditions so that their numbers multiply, right? So this is what needs to be done by the government. Now, before moving on to the practice question, I have something I wanted to let you know. This is in a kind of resolution plus batches. Now, students who are wanting to give exams in 2026, you have an option to take resolution batches right now. But even better if you're preparing for 27-28, because you not just get our P2I resolution batches at a discounted rate, but for students exclusively who are preparing for 27 and 28, we are offering optional batches for as low as 9,999 rupees. And this optional batch is only available for students who are looking to give exams in 2027 or 2028. So please keep this in mind while taking the admission. And also you need to apply the code ATS Live because it helps you get maximum discounts on all the courses, not just this, but all the courses of the StudyIQ IAS platform, right? Now, before further delay, let us try to solve this practice question. Now, if you can remember a question that I attached in the beginning of the lecture, I have curated the same question based on our today's understanding of very similar to the question that appeared in 2017. Recently, there was a proposal to translocate some of the cheetahs from their habitat in Kuno National Park to which one of the following sites? You don't need to guess. The answer is Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, right? Option D. Second question, with reference to Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, consider the following statement. The sanctuary is located at the confluence of Chambal and Narmada rivers in Madhya Pradesh, and it is known for its dry deciduous forest and is home to species such as leopard, cheetah and Indian gazelle. Which one of the following statement is or are correct? Do let me know the correct answers in the comment section. The ones who answer it correctly will get a thumbs up from my side so that you know you have marked it right. And this is all for our today's lecture. The notes, as usual, they will be available on this Telegram channel, ATS Live, so you can go to this Telegram channel and download the notes. This is all from my side. We'll see each other again. Please have a very good night.